Yeah.
Good evening, all. A warm welcome to our very first industry interaction section. I'm happy to announce that we are having a wonderful start with the industry stalwart, Mr. Jayakrishanan Sivaramakrishnan, Finance Operation Lead, Boeing's Defense Australia. I feel proud to know that he is our alumnus MBA 2006 batch. He will be enlightening us about project management and would be sharing his work experiences. Before that, I would like to share a snippet of his life journey. He did his graduation in BE Mechanical Engineering and further completed MBA from Rajiri. He started his career at VKL India and then moved to Royal Dutch Shell at Qatar, then to Australia on a job with Arrow Energy, then first mining project CIMIC Group as a senior project control engineer. 2016 started job with Queensland Rail as senior financial analyst. 2020 joined Cross River Rail Delivery Authority as program cost manager. 2021 joined Boeing Defense Australia as a finance operation lead. Recently, 2021, he started his second master's at University of Queensland MBA. Project controls, project management, contract management, team leadership, strategic planning and analysis, international business management, and so on. His areas of expertise are not limited. So, friends, this will be a wonderful start for us. Knowledge from experience is most valuable. On behalf of all my students and faculty members, it's my pleasure to welcome Mr. Jayakrishanan Sivaramakrishnan, sir. So, welcome, sir, and welcome to all faculty, staffs, and students. Thank you.
Uh, Thanks a lot, Sripriya. I guess I can start talking or
Yeah, sure.
anything else. Um, Thanks a lot. Basically, 15 years back, I think almost, I would be in a similar situation like you. Sitting in Chowra Hall towards the last bench. I would be thinking about what will I do next? The biggest question, since I have done my engineering and MBA, and always it's the future was a big question mark. And like I know, currently you might be going through this similar situation, and it's feel actually. I'm really proud to sit here and talk to you, students, and through this interaction, I would try to take you through my journey so far, and let you give you an insight with regards to what so far I have done, and maybe take your questions, and I think one of the first things I need to do is um, what thanks to the faculty and all the coordinators for giving me opportunity to do this. I would I really appreciate it. Um, so so my journey, I completed my engineering, and obviously I wanted to straight away start working. But my father uh, basically guided me. He really guided me through in my life. So he told me, like, yes, you can go for a job, but again, I would appreciate if you can finish your MBA before really starting your work, because I personally know your character. And once you start working, it will be very difficult for you to come back to studies and do some studies. So I applied for MBA and got selected in Rajagiri, because I studied engineering in Coimbatore. I wanted somewhere closer to my home. I forgot to tell you, I'm from Nuwatapura, which is around 30 kilometers from Rajagiri, towards Todupuzha, and so it's basically in an Auckland district. And studied all my life there, and only for engineering I had to go out of Kerala because I didn't do well in my pre-degree. I was last batch pre-degree. So, so yeah, I did my engineering and came back to Rajagiri. And in fact, I was lucky enough to secure my placement with Walabdas Kanji Limited in Cochin itself. So Walabdas Kanji is one of the oldest employers in Kerala. They were at that time, they were Asia's largest spice exporters. So I joined them as a management trainee in their private label division. So private labeling is basically packing spices, putting the labeling and test everything in India, so that and exporting it. So the business value model is something like this. So when um, when in developed countries, obviously labor is very costly. So if you can do all the laborious work back in India, there is a definite cost advantage for supermarkets to get everything done in India, imported to the developed country, and basically sell it. So we were actually doing a really lot of works for food service companies and supermarket chains like um, um, Tesco's, Aldi's. So packing spices, basically. Good experience in the sense like I started off with domestic markets, and then I matured to looking after international markets. So I've started off with dealing Middle East markets, so intensive travel. I one time, I was like, every month I will be visiting a foreign country. So it was an interesting job in the sense like, I was young, I loved travel. I I basically loved traveling. So went to Dubai, did quite a bit of traveling in France, went to Paris, um, went to Amsterdam, Netherlands. I did fair bit of my travel during that job. Interesting job, in fact. In the sense, like it was they see being in Cochin and being in like Kerala. You don't realize. There are industries around us who just do these kind of things, and they are like global players because they are exporting products. They are not known to the local market. So anyway, one of the journeys while coming back from Europe, I had a stopover in Doha. So I had my relatives in Doha. So I was taking a break. I was having like a 7 days break and staying with them. And meanwhile, I got a chance to give an interview with Royal Dutch Shell. One of my friends and one of my relatives used to work there. So they got me this opportunity to, and they basically gave me the vision to start work on project management. So I gave the interview. Basically, they actually wanted somebody with a technical background to go and work at site. Pearl was putting together a project called Pearl GTL at that time in Qatar. So I'm talking about 2008 June. So they were putting a project, $20 billion project in 2008 terms. So at that time, they were putting that project, and they wanted project accountant analyst, basically to to station at the project site, work with the contractors, make sure the control and governance are done properly, because it was sort of a contract very much. It was a cost reimbursable one, very much. It has to adhere to the project rules called DIPSA, Direct Power Sale Agreement, and so that they can reimburse the cost from the Qatari government. Um, so yeah, I did finish that project with Royal Dutch Shell, and they transferred me to the head office in Middle East, Dubai. So excellent part of my life. I will never forget 6 months. I had a blast in Dubai. So working with Shell means good money and good facilities. And Doha was like not such a happening place. So went to Dubai and started working in a project called Majnoon. Majnoon oil fields were based in Iraq at that time. At that, no, I mean currently also. And then in 2012, Shell had acquired a company called Aeroenergy in Brisbane, Australia. And they wanted somebody with that project experience to move to Australia to start working with Aeroenergy to implement systems. And so we're talking about project controls and SAP systems. And so I moved in as a cost engineer for Aeroenergy in 2012 to Brisbane, Australia. Did my fair bit of projects like surface infrastructure projects and drilling projects. Then it was kind of getting monotonous, and life was getting pretty busy. 2013, 2000, in between that, 2010, I got married. 2013, we had our first kid. And so, and in 2016, I moved in to Queensland Rail, which is a government company. So it's a government entity, and started working there as a senior financial analyst. And then moved into mining. Interesting mining projects. So mining is pretty big in Australia. So it was important for me to get some experience with mining projects. So I worked with a company called Cynic, which is a Taiwan contractor here in Australia. And they are into mining. They had a division called Sageman who looked after call handling power plants. So it was an interesting experience. And then I came back to Crossover Rail. So Crossover Rail is currently a $5.4 billion project. So it's basically tunneling, and they are setting up kind of a tube system, so underground stations in Brisbane City. And if you know Brisbane, I mean, if you look at Brisbane City, I mean, it's kind of like, I mean, there is a big river going on the other sides of the city, so it's basically connecting it. And currently, I mean, so had my second kid with Crossover Rail, so it was like getting hectic. So in between, I had a call from Boeing Defense to join. I had an earlier stint with Boeing. So Boeing, the problem is they had all these national defense projects, and you need to get the clearance, security clearance for working on Boeing defense projects, because I mean we are talking about basically defense and security projects. So everybody working there needs to be Australian citizens. So in 2016 or something, I mean, I had the initial interviews and stuff like that. Everything was cleared, and but again, then back then I was not a citizen here. So to work for a Boeing defense, I mean, you need to be a citizen and you need to clear the security. You need to have that security clearance levels. So yeah, I mean, everything came through, and 2021 I started working for Boeing. Currently, it's a similar kind of roles where I'm doing project controls. I worked at a program level now, so not at a project. I go into projects as and when required, do my audits, and as and when required, projects require support, I go in and support them, and do a bit of training in terms of project controls, and write standards, procedures, and stuff like that for projects. Currently, I am working for a project called Wakulda, which is airspace battle management systems. And with Boeing, I have also worked in something called air teaming systems, which is a drone project in Boeing. Unfortunately, due to the security nature of things, I mean, I cannot reveal further informations. So far, I mean, that's what I have my experience on. And like I said, I mean, I never thought I will be here, sitting here, talking to you. Um, and it was the same stage of my life. I used to like listen to different personalities coming in from different countries and different companies, and listen to them. And yeah, look, I think, I mean, one of the things I want to tell you is, so when you are in, when you do your MBA, MBA is a very general degree. It will enable you to go anyways, and with the sort of knowledge you get, I mean, it's easy to work for different industries, and I would say, I mean, apart from considering sales, finance, marketing jobs, also consider, I mean, I think, I mean, these days there are a lot of engineers who come and do their MBAs. I guess, I mean, it will be a good thing to consider careers in project management, especially because, I mean, every company will have some sort of a project. You look around your rajiri itself. I mean, you have companies in, uh, what do you call it? Like software companies. Software companies is big in project management now. So aim for it. If you do project management, I mean, project management is also like very broad, very so if you want to get into something like, so if you aim for something like going to Middle East or something, I mean, aim to do something like a PMP or APM certification or something, which will enable you to give you the basics, which will help you out. If you want to go into software industry is also very big in project management, in the sense, like, I mean, they have to do quite a bit of um, development. So every project. So if you want to go for software industry, I mean, go for something like Agile, Scrum, Print certification kind of a thing. It will really enable you to give an entry, get an entry. I guess, I mean, getting an entry is the biggest thing. Once you get the entry, I mean, if you gain the experience, I mean, that's it. I mean, the whole universe is there for you. So I guess that's what I wanted to talk to you mainly. I have a presentation on project management. I'm not sure whether to bore you with that thing, especially because, I mean, it's a Friday afternoon, Friday evening. I I was in the same seat like you guys. Friday evening. I mean, I don't want to listen to anybody talking about project management or things like that. But again, I mean, I guess most of you are forced to. But again, yeah, like I said, I mean, I'm in the same shoes like you guys. So um, if you want, I mean, we can go through that. Otherwise, I can take questions, and I'm happy to go anyway. I'm flexible.
So let's go with the presentation a bit, like, and then we'll ask you questions on that too.
Okay, let's try. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Um, so here we go. Project management. Project management. So the good thing about projects is, basically, I mean, every project is unique. If you look at it, a project is like a unique transient endeavor to achieve a desired outcome. So any project any project, even though it is repetitive in nature, there is something unique to it, and it's short term. It's short term in the sense projects can run over like 10 years, but again, it's a transient endeavor. That's a basic definition of a project. That's how you differentiate between operations and projects. And project management is a process by which projects are defined and planned, monitored and controlled and delivered such that the agreed benefits are realized. So a project basically comes out of a opportunity, a problem. You can say it comes out of a necessity. So if you work in an industry, for example, oil and gas normally works like this. There is a huge requirement. So I worked in oil and gas industry. So basically, what happens is, so I produce 100 barrels of oil now, and so they look at the market, and then they will say like economies are growing, and as for the economies grows, there is a fair chance of that becoming $200. Now that there lies my 200 barrels of oil. There lies that's my opportunity, and then I will be looking at how to realize that opportunity, how to generate that opportunity, how to generate that kind of production so that I can sell another 100 barrels of oil. So there comes that unique opportunity very much. I will be looking into the most economical way of producing it. So then it all comes down to the bottom line very much. I will be looking at what's the best way to deliver that at the least cost possible way so that I can get maximum profit out of it. Now, in any organization, so like I said, the input for a project is basically the business needs, or there is a problem, or there is an opportunity. Now, the constraints I have got is time. Time is a major constraint. In all the projects I've worked on, time is a major constraint because time means money in industry. So, for example, if it is in a petroleum industry, time is very big. The time is essence because of the what do you call it? The delay cost in in any project means I won't be able to sell a product for that time period, which means it's a lost opportunity for me. Cost is the same, and quality, then technical and other performance parameters like legal, environmental, and everything is a constraint. Environment is a big thing nowadays. In Australia as well, there are projects which are not happening because of environment. And so I should have told this area. When I talk about projects, projects can be anything. Anything anything could anything in the sense like anything simple could be ranging from $100 to whatever. But when I talk about projects, I'm talking about billion-dollar projects. I worked in mega projects, I would say. So these are really the principles by which mega projects works. And then mechanisms is basically very much, we look at the resources, the tools available, and the techniques and the equipment and the organization itself to deliver that project. And output from a project is whatever deliverables or services or change which is brought into the organization, which will be giving them the advantage. So this is taken in from, so I did my project management certification in 2012. I'm a certified project management associate by Association of Project Management UK, which is something equivalent to PMP in US. So this is how that APM defines a project management process. Now, if you look at an organization, like I said, organizations can be divided at different levels. So organization can be, say, for example, if you talk about Shell has got a big LNG portfolio, then a big natural gas, what do you call it, oil and gas, like petroleum portfolio. Then there is like different programs which is running in different countries. So program is basically a collection of projects, and so every level of that management differs. So you need to have a strategic objective for the organization, and from that, programs are derived, and your objectives are derived, and basically that is how you manage your projects. Now, one of the important factors, one of the major factors I would say is defining success in projects. So how do you define success in a project? Say, for example, you are spending money, you are taking stakeholders, shareholders' money, and basically investing in something. So how do you define success? Success definition is a big criteria in projects. So, for example, crossover rail, the success criteria is project to be delivered within cost and schedule. So, cost is 5.4 billion, and delivery is somewhere around 2024. So this is an example. Everybody should know the Sydney Opera House. I guess I've been fortunate enough to go there and see it. I guess everybody will recognize this term. Now, during project delivery, it was a massive complex project. So originally, it was the construction or the design of I think the design of Opera House started somewhere in 1957 with a budget of 7 million, and with an original completion date of 26 January 1963. Now, after it really happened, the project really completed after 10 years late, 14 times over budget. So the actual cost of completion was somewhere around 102 million, so which is equivalent to approximately around 1 billion US dollars at current market. And the official completion was around 20th October 1973. Now, during that journey, the architect had to resign, and nowhere while the opening ceremony or anything, his name was mentioned. So basically, he had very bad relations with the stakeholders, so he had to resign. There were many changes to the design, which basically resulted in the cost and schedule overrun. There was immense amount of pressure in Australian government to make changes to the layouts and start the construction with incomplete designs and reduce the front-end design, etc. So it was a massive chaos. Okay, I'm just explaining you project delivery. Why it was a massive failure. But in terms of asset, so if you look at it, the same architect who resigned got awarded in 2003 for best design. Now, this is considered to be a masterpiece by that architect. It's massively admired. Anything to do with Australia, you will be seeing this. So, a new year or anything, you will be seeing this building. It's a world-class performing arts center, treasured by people of Australia. This is a very big symbol of Australia, and UNESCO has given us a World Heritage listing in 2007. So, was it a big success or not? Because for a project to be success, it's basically project success is defined in long term as well. So everything is important. Going to the next slide. So I'm just telling you, like, I mean, any project. These are the predominantly the 5 factors which defines whether a project is successful or not. So it has to be on scope, on cost, on schedule, and the quality. So it's not like, I mean, you build a bridge and it will collapse after a couple of like initial runs. It shouldn't be, because I mean, in that case, I mean, you would term it as a failure. And every development should be sustainable. I mean, in terms of the environment, I mean, it shouldn't be destructive. Everything should be sustainable. Long-term business perspective, I mean, it should be adding value to the business, reliable, and basically gives cost competitive advantage, sustainable, safe. Safety is one of the major things nowadays. Or I mean, I guess, I mean, in the past as well. But again, health, safety, environment is a big contributor to the success and failure of projects, because it tarnishes the reputation of companies. So any incident at both sides basically means, I mean, it tarnishes the reputation of the company, and companies tend to be very cautious with that. Yeah, I guess going to the next slide. I'm not sure whether I should be taking you through this, but again, yeah, anyway, since we started, so like I said, I mean, it's important to plan the project, because a properly planned project will have far greater chance of success than a poorly planned project. And so these are these factors which basically define the planning and the strategy of a project. Going ahead, earn value. Earn value is one of the techniques which is used to do project controls in projects. So I thought, I mean, I will give you simple examples where I was even inclined to give you very simple examples so that you guys can understand. So for example, I mean, consider a project with a budget of 1 million. So BAC is budget of completions, and the planned duration is 18 months. And so you do your project monitoring, governance, and control throughout the project life cycle. So in the 10th month of that 18-month duration, you look at it, and so then you look at the project and say, like, I plan to spend around 600K, 600,000 in that project within that 10 months period, and actual cost is around approximately 500K. But the earn value means, I mean, the budgeted cost of work performed, which means, I mean, what progress I have achieved with that actual cost. Like spending 500,000 on that project gave me how much progress is what earn value means. I'm not going to take you through that, because I mean, these are calculations for earn value management.
Sir, if I can interrupt, what does this 50,000? Where does 50,000 go? I mean, in the last slide.
Okay. So
I mean, 40,000.
Yes. So 40,000 is basically the cost variance. Okay. So during that period, where does that cost go? So it's basically the variance. So I spent. So I did my estimations based on, say, for example, 10 people doing a job for 20 days. Okay, let's say 10 people doing the job for 10 days. Okay, After my fifth day, I'm supposed to have 50% of job done. But my productivity factor, I calculated my estimates based on productivity factor of 1. So which means I mean everybody working very efficient and giving me whatever I require. But I come to know that these guys are not working well or something, okay? Or due to some environmental factors, or maybe say for example, I mean they are supposed to lay 100 bricks, came out if say 40 was defective, they couldn't do the job, okay? So that is your cost variance. Now, in terms of schedule variance, so if you look at it, the plant value was around 600K, and you earn only like work worth of 460K, which means your schedule is off by 140K, 140,000. Okay. Now, instead of 18 months, using these stats, using the current cost performance index and the schedule performance index. So this is how you look at the project. So I would be sitting in the review table at the 10th month of this project, and I will be looking at my information, and I will be saying, see, project manager and everybody else. So this has got a cost variance of 40, but my main concern is the schedule variance, which is 140K, which means we cannot deliver the project in the promised 18 months, which will be going to 23 months. Okay, so this means I mean basically a schedule overrun and a cost overrun as well. Now, the value added question is like, I mean, as an analyst, I mean, you sit down and say, hey, our project manager, have you considered this in the project makeup so that you could make up the lost time? So would it be possible for you to investigate the reasons for the delay and see if it can be mitigated? That is the crux of project management. So you sit there, you do your analysis, you do your things. So currently, I mean, I have used tools like Primavera, Prisms, and so finance management, I mean, SAP, to get the information. And usually that informations are combined together in project management tools like Prisms. Currently in Boeing, I mean, we are using Cobra. It's a software. We put all this data together, and combinedly we will try to look at the project health. Project health means, I mean, whether it is ahead of time, behind the time, what exactly needs to be done. We will be looking at the risk and potentially suggesting ways to mitigate it, and seeking ways to deliver the project within the cost and schedule which were promised. Okay, that is basically the crux.
Okay,
Now,
sir. I mean, the variance. Let us understand. I mean, the project is on schedule or not, right?
yeah. Heavy?
Sorry to interrupt, Jayakrishnan. Can you look at the camera and talk?
Okay, sorry for that.
Actually, you are looking. Yes. Look into my eyes and.
Because I mean, you guys are sitting in my second monitor. That's why I'm looking at the second one. Just give me a sec. Thanks. What about now?
You have to look direct.
Okay.
So, excuse me, sir, I have a doubt regarding the EVA. There is economic value added in a project management thing. Is that related? I mean, is that related only towards or limited towards financial terms, or does it also include intangible things like a goodwill of a company?
It normally doesn't include any goodwill of the company. I mean, normal terms, because when you do projects, I mean, we tend to do it on tangible stuff. Very seldom, I mean, when you are really looking to like drop the project or get rid of stall the project. I mean, that's when you look at goodwill and stuff like that. So on a day-to-day and daily or on a monthly review things, I mean, these are the stats which you look into. And one of the major things is, I mean, everything you put into your stats needs to be measurable and quantifiable. Because I mean, the 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 way in which, I mean, you plan your budgets, you plan your times, estimates, quantities, and everything is based on tangible things. Intangibles only come in when you really look at uh, decision making very much. I mean, you have to stall the project. What will be the hit on my namesake? I mean, what will happen to me? Also, I mean, a little bit on the planning side. I mean, when we look at it on the risk side, when you look at it, when you plan for your environmental management systems, your health, safety, and things like that. When you tend to look a little bit on it. It will be something to do with my risk, but again, on a project review, generally, I mean, it's based on tangibles. Hope I
Okay.
answered your
Thank
question.
you. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah. So I don't know whether this session was useful for you, but again, I mean, to end this, I want you to see something. This is a TED talk by Matt Ridley. Matt Ridley is a great UK author, and he basically talks about the so it's basically on uncertainty, I would think. So it's so one of the factors when you study in college and when you are at that level, I mean, one of the major things is uncertainty about future. All around you, I mean, people will be saying, yes, automation is coming in, robots are taking over, computers are, artificial intelligence is coming in, climate is going for a toss. This is going to be having a very great effect on the future. Things like that, a lot of negative things. What I really like about Matt Ridley is, I mean, he is an author, English. He's from UK, and he's an author, and he has done a fair bit of work countering how things has worked out in his lifetime, basically. So he was born in 1958, and he lived through that generation. I'm not sure. I mean, have you had? I mean, anybody? Have you had a chance to look at this? So it's called "When Ideas Have Sex" by Matt Ridley. So it's a TED talk. It's really good. I would
Pardon me,
want
can
you
you
to.
repeat the name of the book, please?
It's not a book. It's a TED talk. It's just a
Okay,
TED talk.
TED talk. Okay.
Yeah, I can play it for you. I have gone for the shorter version. I would think, I mean, it will be really, really good for you for to bring some positive energy into the thinking, because it's not all gloom and doom. There are like millions of opportunities out there. You can do whatever you want to do in your life. And I guess,
Sorry to interrupt, Jayakrishnan. Can you tell me what is Rajagiri for you? What does Rajagiri Business Center for Business Studies mean to you?
it means a lot to me. In the sense, I mean, it basically given me the foundation in which, I mean, I'm standing at now. It gave me the entry. When I look back, I mean, it's really has been a good journey for me. At least, I mean, when I think about my peers and students with me, I mean, everybody has achieved good in life. Apart from, I mean, at least career-wise, I mean, everybody was got job and everybody was happy. And I guess it's a thing very much. I mean, you just need to believe. And I guess the if you look at the faculty, I mean, faculty are pretty good. See, everybody will be having aims in their life. I guess so, and you get into rajiri and you feel like, oh, this is it. That's not the case. You just need to believe. It has got a name. It will take you through the journey, and it will enable you guys to achieve things in life.
Thank you.
So I guess we've got like 10 minutes left. I would appreciate, I mean, if you can listen to this, and I guess, I mean, it's a good one. Okay, let me try to share that.
When I was a student here in Oxford, in the 1970s, the future of the world was bleak. The population explosion was unstoppable, global famine was inevitable, a cancer epidemic caused by chemicals in the environment was going to shorten our lives, the acid rain was falling on the forests, the desert was advancing by a mile or two a year, the oil was running out, and a nuclear winter would finish us off. None of those things happened. And astonishingly, if you look at what actually happened, in my lifetime, the average per capita income of the average person on the planet, in real terms, adjusted for inflation, has trebled. Lifespan is up by 30% in my lifetime. Child mortality is down by 2/3. Per capita food production is up by 1/3. And all this at a time when the population has doubled. How did we achieve that? Whether you think it's a good thing or not, how did we achieve that? How did we become the only species that becomes more prosperous as it becomes more populous? The size of the blob in this graph represents the size of the population, and the level of the graph represents GDP per capita. I think to answer that question, you need to understand how human beings bring together their brains and enable their ideas to combine and recombine, to meet and indeed to mate. How does evolution do cumulative combinatorial things? Well, it uses sexual reproduction. In an asexual species, if you get two different mutations in different creatures, a green one and a red one, then one has to be better than the other, one goes extinct for the other to survive. But if you have a sexual species, then it's possible for an individual to inherit both mutations from different lineages. So what sex does is it enables the individual to draw upon the genetic innovations of the whole species. It's not confined to its own lineage. What's the process that's having the same effect in cultural evolution as sex is having in biological evolution? And I think the answer is exchange. The habit of exchanging one thing for another. It's a unique human feature. And why does exchange raise living standards? Well, the answer came from David Ricardo in 1817. And here's a Stone Age version of his story, although he told it in terms of trade between countries. Adam takes 4 hours to make a spear and 3 hours to make an axe. Oz takes 1 hour to make a spear and 2 hours to make an axe. So Oz is better at both spears and axes than Adam. He doesn't need Adam. He can make his own spears and axes. Well, no, because if you think about it, if Oz makes 2 spears and Adam makes 2 axes, and then they trade, then they will each have saved an hour of work. And the more they do this, the more true it's going to be. Because the more they do this, the better Adam is going to get at making axes, and the better Oz is going to get at making spears. So the gains from trade are only going to grow. And this is one of the beauties of exchange, is it actually creates the momentum for more specialization, which creates the momentum for more exchange and so on. Adam and Oz both saved an hour of time. That is prosperity, the saving of time in satisfying your needs. ask yourself how long you would have to work to provide for yourself an hour of reading light this evening to read a book by. If you had to start from scratch, let's say you go out into the countryside, you find a sheep, you kill it, you get the fat out of it, you render it down, you make a candle, etc., etc. How long is it going to take you? Quite a long time. How long do you actually have to work to earn an hour of reading light if you're on the average wage in Britain today? And the answer is about half a second. Back in 1950, you would have had to work for 8 seconds on the average wage to acquire that much light. And that's 7.5 seconds of prosperity that you've gained since 1950, as it were, because that's 7.5 seconds in which you can do something else or you can acquire another good or service. And back in 1880, it would have been 15 minutes to earn that amount of light on the average wage. Back in 1800, you'd have had to work 6 hours to earn the candle that could burn for an hour. In other words, the average person on the average wage could not afford a candle in 1800. So we've created something called the collective brain. We're just the nodes in the network. We're the neurons in this brain. It's the interchange of ideas, the meeting and mating of ideas between them that is causing technological progress incrementally, bit by bit, however bad things happen. And in the future, as we go forward, that because of the connections people are making and the ability of ideas to meet and to mate as never before, I'm also sure that technology will advance and therefore living standards will advance. Because through the bottom-up world that we've created, where not just the elites, but everybody is able to have their ideas and make them meet and mate, we are surely accelerating the rate of innovation. Thank you.
So, coming back, the full version of that TED Talk. I think sorry for that. I think the full version of that is around 16 minutes. I didn't want it to bore you. So it's a good one. So it basically talks about the globalization and the meeting of ideas. It's just like our brain we are working now. So it's a collection, and it's through collective. It's through the collective nature of work. We are progressing now. So yeah, I think have spoken enough. Is there any other questions that you want me to answer, or?
Guys, it's time for you to ask questions if you have any.
Sir, am I audible, sir?
What is it?
Am I audible?
Yes, I can.
So, having worked in different countries, where do you think it's better to work? If you can give in terms of project management, where it would be better to carry out a project?
I would say definitely in a developed nation. I would think so. Australia. So I have worked in Australia. I have worked in Dubai. I'm in UAE. I worked in Qatar. Of that, I prefer Australia in the sense like your ideas and your contributions are really valued. Yeah. What I see is in Dubai and in UAE and all, the problem is the oil companies has got a lot of money, so it really doesn't matter if you lose like 100 million here, 100 million there. It doesn't matter for them. It will be recovered. So I prefer and for development as well. What I see is in Dubai, it's all about project. It's not about your development. You are just part of the project, delivering something. Very much here, it means they will really concentrate on the overall development of yours, because you are part of the team and you are gaining that experience as well. and your experience you gain from each project is unique, and you can contribute it back to the betterment of the company, in the sense like, I mean, you can do better projects and you can deliver more. Very much, I mean, in Middle East, I mean, what I see is it's mostly transactional, although money is really good. Uh, because there is no tax and stuff like that. I mean, so the money is really good in Middle East. I mean, you can earn more. Very much. I mean, it definitely, the bottom line is, I mean, what really matters to you. Did I?
So even I have the same experience as you. I worked in Dubai. It's about the project, not about you.
Yes.
Is what it is.
Yes.
And I like to add on about your last video. I mean, I found it similar to the book called Factfulness by Hans Rosling. I mean, it gives a optimistic approach on the future. I mean, rather than what other people see, technology is bad. I mean, it's going to create a lot of job loss, such kind of things. It gives a positive approach to the future.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, I mean, there will be a generation like us who were haunted by the technological advances very much. I mean, in my when we were in school, I mean, it's mostly landlines, and when we started college, I mean, the initial mobile phones came out, and that was a time very much. I mean, Y2K was a big thing, and everybody was thinking world will be stopping. And 2000 came, nothing happened. Basically, a lot of people made a lot of money. Y2K, nothing happened. Everybody was saying computer will stop. And it was a generation very much, I mean, we were a generation very much, I mean, we were threatened like, I mean, computers will come in and take your job. There is nothing will be left for you to do. Your chances are bleak. But it's I think, I mean, it's not true. I guess it's just a matter of time. You just need to give that time. Once you go through that process, things will happen. And I guess, yeah, I mean, it's a human nature. Like, I mean, when I started as a management trainee, I used to look at my manager and say, "Ah, look at him. He has got everything. Look at the pay he has. Look at the car he's driving." But when I reach manager level, I mean, when I look back, I mean, it's like, I mean, I think, I mean, my life as a trainee was really good, in the sense like, I mean, my requirements were very less. So it's always that catching up. You never and I think, I mean, the crux of the thing is, I mean, you shouldn't ruin your present thinking about your future. The future will happen, and it will happen for good. Your time will come.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
So, how do you decide whether you complete a project like that?
Can't hear you properly, Jay.
So, how do you decide to whether you commit a project?
It's a long ended process, Jayakrishnan. I mean, it's called the opportunity realization. So ORS. I mean, it's I can talk about it like hours and hours. Like I said, I mean, in general terms, I mean, if you speak about it, you have got an opportunity or a problem. Say, for example, I mean, if you have got a car, for example, let's say you're driving a Maruti Swift, okay, and you have got a problem. I mean, it breaks down, okay, and then you look at the available things in the market to go and look for it, okay. So that could be termed as a project, okay. So you basically look at your requirement and opportunity. So if there is an opportunity for in the market to sell something and you need to make it, that's a project. And then companies, I mean, have got so it's called greenfield and brownfield projects. So Greenfields is very much, I mean, you make something new. The project is like from something creating new. Brownfields is very much, I mean, you add value to the existing bits. So you either to consistently deliver something, I mean, you need to maintain it. You need to add capacity. It's a project. So it's a requirement. So organizations, depending upon their strategy of to grow, to maintain, to sustain, to have a competitive advantage, they need to go through this unique endeavor to create that capacity, which will give them the edge over the others and to generate money, profits.
Okay, sir.
Sir, hi. You told that you were a person who loved to travel a lot and all, but the situation has changed now. It's a pandemic situation. So how did it create a change in you, your work culture?
Um, so it creates a lot of difference. So I'm in Australia. Australians are banned from traveling from Australia. So I'm stuck here. I used to I have my I got my father and mother in Watchapura. I used to at least travel once in a year, mostly twice. Um, that that definitely saved a lot of money. But again, in terms of things have changed a lot. In terms of work terms, you look at it. See, working from home is not no more major thing. Earlier, I mean, when I used to join the companies, I would be telling them like, I mean, I would like to at least work one day a week from home. The last couple of them, I mean, they were like, Jay, are you happy to work from home for 3 or 4 days in a week? They don't want you in office. To Boeing has converted their offices into open offices, got rid of. So it's like if you are going in, you just need to book a seat. You don't have a permanent seat. You just go in and sit with whoever you want, and you just book in. And so it's not a big thing now to work from home. So people have adjusted to it. And travel it's majorly, I mean, majorly domestic. I have never thought, I mean, there is so many stuff domestic. I generally travel domestic. Yeah, I mean, I've got a 1 year old now. Recently, I've got my second son, so that also worked out well in the sense, like, I mean, by the time COVID is over, I mean, I hope, I mean, he will be getting big and we will be up and running again. What do you think? I mean, look at you guys. I mean, at our times, we used to sit down in Rajiri college. We had to be there, and Friday afternoon, I mean, Friday evening, rather than going for a break, I mean, we will be sitting there and listening to guys. Very much, I mean, you have the advantage to do it from home. Think about it.
But we wish to come to college.
I know.
We just want to come back to college, sir.
Online
classes are really bad.
I totally understand it. I totally understand it. I have started my second bit in management. I've started my course in UQ, University of Queensland, and it's the same experience. I prefer to go in there and listen, see people. That entire social thing is gone, and I feel sorry for you guys. We used to have a good time. We used to be in college. We used to sit in canopy. We used to have one way or the other. I mean, we used to enjoy. It was good. Like, there were days where, I mean, there were lecturers who used to work and they come to college to do a lecture. I mean, I remember, I mean, still, I mean, there was time where, I mean, there were lectures at 9 o'clock at night, 9 to 11 and all. Can you think about it? It was good. I guess, I mean, there is advantages and disadvantages. And, I guess it's a good thing. Friday afternoon, Friday evening, sit at home. You're at home. Yeah, it's
So,
changed.
so can you suggest any certification courses after MBA, especially into ones who are focusing on finance, like CPA Australia? Is that a good choice for them?
CPA Australia is really good. There is a lot of opportunity in the sense it will enable you to get points for migrating if you are thinking about migration and stuff like that. In my case, because the company sponsored me, they had taken all the paperwork and they did everything. I didn't go through the normal process. So they basically relocated me from Dubai to Brisbane and they took care of all the paperwork. So I came here on a work visa and after 2 years, I got converted it to permanent visa. So CPA Australia is a good course where which I can say I have got colleagues where which they are CPA and it's valued in Australia, and I guess abroad as well. They have got their partnerships. I'm not a finance person. I do my job in project controls. So I never had to go through that CPA thing. Rather than I did my project management certifications. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So because I saw you're a finance lead in the pamphlet, so I thought, okay, I'll ask about finance things because I'm interested in finance. So,
Yeah, yes. I if you ask me accounts payable, accounts receivable, I don't know debits and credits. I am very horrible in that. My forte is project controls. So it's part of finance, but again, generally sits under something called project management office. So in Boeing, what they did was, they had everything came under PMO, and the PMO got separated, and the planners went under. So in general organization, planners and cost controllers work together, and some organizations it's called project controls persons. So in Boeing, they have taken this option of keeping it segregated. So that's why my title is finance operations lead. Um, I would think it's something similar to program controls managers.
okay, got it. So thank you.
Sorry, just said the title is a little bit misleading. I'm not a finance.
Yeah,
person.
okay, so yeah.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Hi, sister. How are you?
Sir, I have a question that in the present scenario, which is having more fluctuations in the industry field, which is the skill we as the managing students should acquire, or which is the skill which will be more work, or which will give more feasibility to work as a project manager?
I think the one of the major skills you need to have is you need to understand the techniques in project management. It also the techniques and the technical expertise is one of the things aspects. If you talk about the common skills, I would think communication is a major aspect. So communication in the sense it's not communicating in English or something. You need to understand how to make people understand, how to drive people towards that common goal of delivering the project. So any project will have different aspects, different teams, and as a project manager, you basically look at the project and make people to look at the same direction as you and make to deliver. And the other aspect is to manage situations. Um, so as I told you, every project is unique, which means every project requires that unique approach to situations. So in my experience, a good project manager is somebody who has got that skill to take project people along with them and deliver the results required. So yeah, apart from the general skills, I would think, I mean, communication is a general skill. Talk to people, be open, and you need to be ready to say no when you have to say no. Um, uh, the the one of I worked in India, I worked in Middle East, I worked in Australia. It, one of the major aspect I think is the ability to say no is missing. When somebody tell us something, we always do this. Yes, we will do it. So that is not what is expected out of you. If you can't do it, I mean, you should tell them. This cannot be done because of this. And normally, what happens is the other people will come along and support you to deliver that. If you say yes to it, nobody will understand. I mean, there is a difficulty, there is a problem. So yeah, I mean that's the other. It's a little bit of cultural thing. I mean, I would when I don't know about you, but again, me, I mean, I had a problem to say no to anything. I mean, I thought, I mean, it's something. Looking at my competency, I mean, think about, I mean, it's something to say no is a derogatory thing to do, or I mean, would be showing something as my incompetency.
Sir,
Yes.
good afternoon, sir. I have a question regarding for project management. Can we take like a course or specialization in international business? Will it help in that?
See,
International business.
see, Pooja, I mean, I'm not sure what exactly the situation you are looking at, but if you want to go international, do project management, you need to look at which type of industry. Like, if you want to go and work for a construction industry or oil and gas and stuff like that, I would recommend you to do something like a PMP certification. So, which will give you the basic foundation to get into that job. So, whenever a requirement comes, you can say that I have done my whatever basic foundation. Now I'm seeking for opportunity. The other bit is if you are doing something like a software thing, I would think, I mean, do something like an agile course or something like Prince 2. So it's a little bit different to the construction projects and oil and gas industry projects, where which I mean the scope is defined, where which I mean software, you tend to do program increments, so that I mean you keep it agile. So you basically do an increment, look at it, adapt, and then do another increment. So software is like short term. So agile methodology would be a good thing. Prince 2 is a good thing. So look at what you want, and look at the other good way to look at it is the potential roles you want to apply for. Look at the roles, get the job description. Any advertisements will have a job description. Start from there. Look at the requirements they have, and like take out the crux of it. Like, I mean, there will be common requirements to jobs, and try to gain knowledge on that. That will definitely help you out.
Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
So first of all, congratulations for the little one, for the child.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, sir. When you're talking about the budget and stuff, I got confused. I mean, I was thinking, how will you communicate with the client that they have to pay more and to take most time consuming? How will you actually communicate without losing the factor of trust?
Um, okay, let me ask you something. So you are in the stage of the project, okay, and you are going above your budget. What will happen if you don't communicate to them in time? If you are a company, I mean, you don't put money from your pocket, obviously, because I mean, the margins you get from that project is your bread and butter. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So it's also, so every project will have a project management plan, and the project management plan will dictate the number of meetings, the number of interactions you will have, and it will also dictate generally the amount of information you will be sharing with them. So in majority of the cases, I mean, it will be defined, and you will be telling them upfront. It's good to tell them upfront rather than not to tell them, because I mean things in my experience, I mean, what really goes wrong is basically when you conceal stuff, you don't communicate things properly. That's and then a problem happens, because I mean sometime, I mean, you will of the project life, I mean, you will have to tell them the same thing. So in my experience, I mean, it will be good to be upfront, talk to them, and you should be able to explain to them, and which in a way that you should be able to explain the reasons for the overruns in a way that they should feel that you are in total control of the project. In project execution, you know what you're doing, which will give them the confidence to make sure um, the budgets are allocated. And Sharath, I mean, it's also depending upon the way in which, I mean, the type of contract you enter into. There are different types of contracts, and the contracts management plan also dictates what you can do and what you cannot do. So once it's not like the client will be saying, "Oh, you spent $100 more, and I'm leaving," because I mean it's an opportunity loss for them as well to find another people, find another contractor, go through the entire process. It's a time means money, man. So
Yes, got it. Thanks.
So if you don't have any more questions, Jay, shall we wind up the session?
yeah, I'm happy to. It's already 10 o'clock. Yeah, already like 9:48.
Okay.
But I hope, I mean, it was useful. I'm not sure, I mean, whether yeah, I mean, this was the first time I had this opportunity to talk to people back in Rajagiri. So I'm also like, I mean, yeah, learning.
So I will surely call you again. I hope you understood me. I'm Ritik, and the person who called you.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking like that. Like, I mean, your WhatsApp DP is totally different. You look like a movie star in that.
Okay, sir. Sir, so we have a thank you note for you. Okay, so I invite Lakshmi to give the vote of thanks to Jay, sir.
Can you one thing? I mean, don't call me sir. Just call me.
Jay.
It's really feeling awkward.
Good evening, all. I deem it great honor and privilege to propose a vote of thanks at the end of this wonderful session. First and foremost, I would like to thank Mr. Jayakrishanan Sivaramakrishnan, Finance Operations Lead, Boeing Defense Australia, who is also an alumni of 2004-06 MBA batch, for taking time from his busy schedule to grace this occasion. You have made this session really informative and interactive for all of us. Your thoughts have enlightened our minds and have shown us a new path. Thank you, sir. It really means a lot to have you here. I would also like to thank his batchmate for joining the session. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to the Office of Corporate Relations of Rajagiri College for organizing this wonderful session. Last but not the least, I would like to thank all the students for your active participation. Thank you all.
Thanks a lot. Much appreciated.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you,
Thanks so
sir.
much, Jace.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.